130,000 spectators overall over this weekend. Hello and welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship and the International ADAC Truck-Grand-Prix here at the Nürburgring. It's the final race of this weekend. It's reverse grid time. And of course, we do want to see everybody here soon. But I'm so glad that you all came back to see us on our live stream and joining us for the final whistle. And of course, this weekend it will be an absolute highlight here at the last race. So I'm so glad that it's not raining. We do have good conditions, and also we do have wonderful interview guests. Christina Scheib. Hi, good to see you. Hey.
Hi, gut. Wie geht's dir?
Good. I'm good. So we are well familiar because also we talked a lot during the last seasons, and we also talked about the topics that we do need more women behind the wheel. So how is it going?
Wie sieht's aus mit den Frauen hinter dem Steuer? Also mit den Frauen hinter dem Steuer, sie wachsen, also die Zahl wächst. Man sieht auch immer mehr Frauen, wenn man auf den Autobahnen unterwegs ist. So fast jeder 5., 6. LKW ist schon fast eine Frau. Aber wir sind gar nicht mehr so selten immer noch, aber nicht mehr so selten. Also es wächst und das macht mich unheimlich stolz.
So the numbers are growing, and she said when she's on the road with her truck, then she may see out of 5, she sees one woman behind the wheel, and so this is very great because we do see even more women because of course you did your work well, weil du natürlich auch deine Arbeit dazu beigetragen hast.
Ja, also ich bin ja Frauenbotschafterin, will ja meinen Beruf an die Frau bringen, und ich habe hier schon 3 Mädels getroffen, die wirklich gesagt haben: Christina, dank dir, du hast uns so inspiriert, haben wir den LKW-Führerschein gemacht. Ich kriege auch Gänsehaut, wenn ich drüber nachdenke, und das macht mich wahnsinnig stolz, und genau das ist ja der Hintergrund, dass wir viel mehr Frauen hinter Steuer kriegen. Vielleicht kriegen wir auch viel mehr Frauen an den Renntruck.
So it gives her goosebumps because as she was joining us here on the grid, and there were also 3 female talking to her like, I made my driving license just because of you, because you influenced me. And this is her work. She's ambassador officially for women in truck, not only truck racing, but she says we do need more women on the grid also. We do need more women competing. We do have one female driver with Steffi Halm. Was kann man denn noch machen, damit vielleicht ein paar Frauen noch mal hier vielleicht auch mal mitfahren?
Also ich denke mal vielleicht, dass man mehr Taxifahrten macht, dass mal die Frauen das Gefühl kriegen. Aber ich glaube auch, dass es vielleicht auch Frauen im Blut schon haben. Also ich bin ja auch jemand, ich habe es im Blut, aber vielleicht trauen sie sich auch nicht wirklich. Aber vielleicht, dass man wirklich sagt, man macht mal Taxifahrten, man probiert es aus. Und vielleicht sagt der eine und die andere: hey, macht mit mir im Boxen einen Stall auf und los geht's.
So what can we do to bring more female onto the grid? She says, yeah, why do we not do any taxi rides, giving them a chance to feel it, how it is, maybe racing a truck one time and making a driving license, and also talk to the teams if you're interested, because we are absolutely convinced that some female do have that in their blood, as Christina also has. So what are the future projects? Was gibt's gerade bei dir Neues an Projekten?
Es gibt ganz viele Projekte, also ich darf noch nicht so viel verraten, aber es wird vieles Neues geben. Ich habe meinen neuen LKW gekriegt, und jetzt kommt natürlich auch noch der neue Trailer dazu, und ja, es gibt ganz viele Projekte, auch gerade mit Schulen, mit Sicherheit und natürlich auch für die Werbung, für die Branche.
Danke dir. So she's got many projects upcoming. Also she's working in schools, information doing also with small kids, and telling them everyone about the job of driving a truck. She's got a brand new truck. It's pink, of course. I'm sure it is. And of course you can follow her also on TikTok if you want to. Christina Scheib was us. Dankeschön. And we heading back down, still waiting for the trucks to arrive, but still welcoming our commentators first. Just record von Severin and Jörg Hennig.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the final race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring for the 2024 ADAC International Truck-Grand-Prix and of course the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draker up here in the commentary box at the Nürburgring, having a wonderful time on site this weekend, and really looking forward to seeing what we can get up to with this last encounter. I've been catching up with a lot of the drivers before this final race, been recording some social media content with them and having a really good time. And to be fair, with the long wait that we've had between race 1 and race 2, a lot of the teams are highly anticipating this one. Let's have a look back at the previous race though, because it was an absolute barnstormer here at the Nürburgring. One that certainly threw up a lot of excitement. Jochen Hahn was raring to go from the off, and it was a good thing too, as when they got across the line and got underway, Norbert Kirsch unfortunately had the gearbox hop into neutral on him, and he lost time across the start-finish line and lost a bunch of positions. As you'll see here, Jochen Hahn managed to take the lead with Sascha Lenz going up into second position, and then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez following them through. But before we knew it, Norby was back into second place. A little off there for Louis Requenco as he tried to avoid John Newell into the chicane, and then the battle was on. Norby trying to get past Jochen Hahn at every convenience, but Jochen was staying strong and really defending in a sturdy manner to keep the Iveco in the lead. The rest of the field spread out quite fairly, to be honest, with the first race of the day, which is not something we always see. A lot of the battles usually a bit further back in the pack. We're quite subdued this time. We also had struggles for Antonio Albacete to get through, but he managed to hold on for a front row start for the second race of the day. The eyes were all on the front of the field, though, as Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn engaged in battle time and time again, lap after lap. Norby went for a move on the final lap, got it done down the inside into the hairpin, and even with Jochen fighting back, would hold on to it until the checkered flag. One of the absolute great races here at the Nürburgring, and Norby and Jochen, two real titans of the championship, showing us how it's done, with massive respect between the two of them after the checkered flag as well, and a really lovely encounter in Parc Fermé. So now we bring ourselves to the final race of the weekend, race number 4, and this is the last race before the summer break. We come back at the end of August for the next rounds at Most in Czechia. We then move on to Le Mans late on in September, and then at the start of October we continue and finish the championship in Jarama. Let's go back down onto the grid though and see Christina.
Thank you very much, and I've got a really cool guest. It's Michael Marek he's the FIA race director, and we want to talk about a special topic. So please, could you explain the primary objectives of the, I need to read that, extrication exercise, because it's a bit difficult for me to pronounce that.
So in general, we would like to give the opportunity to the local recovery and extrication team to practice some recovery of the driver, rescue the driver from the cabin very safely in case there will be any strange situation on the track. So we consider it as a mandatory before any track activity, and during the process of their education, this is the very good element to give them the possibility to do that.
And gladfully, Mark Taylor was this time, he was doing the procedure. So how are the extrication procedure adapted specifically for the unique challenges of the truck racing, of course?
Yeah, to extract the driver from the cabin, the team is working in a different level. They are quite high. It's different from the Formula car or touring car, and the cabin is quite big. But still, the working in the height is not easy to solve. They use some kind of platform to be in a good position to the driver. And also, we, after this practice, ask the driver to give us any feedback if there was smooth for him. And also, the driver knows if we have a situation on track, what's going on, if he is not able to leave the cabin by his foot.
Absolutely, and it's of course to stabilize the spine, as we could see there on the pictures. So, and also do everything really calmly, quietly, also for then this case the patient. How good is it for the medical team also to have the response and feedback every race?
I think this is the most important thing for them. They always ask us for the feedback, and also we share the experiences from the previous events, which are given us by the local teams.
Absolutely, highly safety standards. Thank you very much for giving us an insight to this perspective, and of course it's very much good to have it, but please do not need this today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Chaz.
Yeah, always great to hear from Michael Marek. I actually had lunch with him today and had a really lovely time up in the AMG lounge. He's a really, really passionate bloke about what he does, and he runs a very tight outfit with everybody involved, and really to a high standard, like Christina rightly said. You can see the official truck, the Ford F-Max, on the right-hand side on the shot. And we also have the Iveco as well. And we also have Georg Fuchs with Christina.
So the 3-star accreditation, that's really huge step for the ETRA. How does it feel to achieve such great honor?
Very good. I mean, we are really very proud of having achieved the FIA 3-star environmental accreditation, which also has been awarded to F1, Formula E and alikes. And basically we are really happy to be also in line with our fellow car colleagues. So from that point of view, the work for sustainability transition really paid off.
Absolutely. And it was not easy to get there. There was a full audit day. How can I imagine that day going on?
No, it was really good. I mean, the auditor was really very nice and friendly, very professional, and basically it was he was led through by our sustainability expert, Barbara Proske, who really took on the lead, and a lot of credits and thanks to her as well.
Could you give us a small insight? What was checked?
Basically everything. I mean, they want to check that the sustainability work and environmental approach is really done in a proper way, and this is basically, it's a fundamental part of our business. So it's not only been mandated by our shareholder, ADAC, but it's also really a fundamental part of our business to live that, because we want to live as a best practice example to really show that it can work, it can make fun, and from that point of view, yeah, we are really happy about that.
So how do you maintain this high level, or maybe even surpass it?
Surpassing is quite difficult because it's the highest level of recognition you can get from FIA with regards to that work. But we are open in terms of technology, what's happening on the track. So we have been the very first motorsport series to switch to 100% HVO, sustainable fuel, bio-LNG. The full electric race truck prototype is there, and now we are tackling basically the pillar of hydrogen. So today there took place the very first FIA hydrogen working group for trucks with about 40 industry representatives. So that's really a technology that's quite interesting for the industry, and we are embedded into the industry, and basically that's the next step we want to take.
Absolutely great, and we are here at the Transformation Tech Race Hub, so you can see all the techniques if you want to come on by. What are we going to see on the grid for our next technique?
At the end, it's up to the teams, up to the manufacturers, what technology we are seeing. The e-race truck prototype is already there, so the next step basically to have it racing is not that far. For hydrogen, probably takes a little bit more. It's more complicated to have it racing, but that's actually the interesting part also for the industry, that it's kind of something they can form together with FIA and us. So at the end, it will be quite interesting. I'm curious by myself what we will see next.
Congratulations, great achievement.
Fantastic to hear from Georg, and of course thank you to Christina for conducting the interview as well. It's amazing what the series has achieved with the 3-star environmental accreditation from the FIA. It's lovely to hear it. I'm just unfortunately hearing news though that Luke Garrett will not be out on the circuit for the race. He's out on the circuit, but unfortunately he is not making it round, and yet again they have had steering issues, I hate to say, which is a real shame. They changed the axle at the start of the weekend to a more lightweight one, and one that was, to be honest, taking a lot less strain and wasn't spiking the steering, as Luke said to me. But they're still having problems with it. It's been a real problem child, this truck, and you can see that's actually down at turn 1 as well, so it hasn't even made it past the first corner. That is a huge shame. I think Lisa's going to kill me because I spoke to her earlier on and she was saying about the fact that they were happy they'd finished all the races, and I said they were doing well. It's clearly a commentator's curse, so I apologise, Lisa. But we hope that all is well and hope that they can get it sorted. They now have a summer break to recuperate and come back for Most at the end of August. And now you can see that all of the fans and personnel are being asked to leave the grid. The grid walk is now complete, the final one of the weekend here at the Nürburgring. And we're going to now welcome our international TV audience from around the world, so I'll go quiet for a sec and we'll see you in a few.
And please shift change, because we are going to see race number 4 on this legendary weekend here. Round number 4 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's ring time. Welcome to the famous and legendary Nürburgring on the ADAC Truck-Grand-Prix. Good to have you all back, our worldwide viewers. And maybe you remember Saturday, the reverse grid. It was Steffi Halm. She was starting from pole position and then she won the race. Can she repeat this victory? Steffi, mal eine kurze Frage. Can she repeat the victory? That was what I wanted to ask you.
I didn't hear can you repeat the question, please?
Could you repeat the victory today?
I hope so. No, for sure it will be a very difficult race like yesterday. It was also difficult. But for sure we are in a good position. We are on pole. I hope we can have a good start like yesterday, and then we will fight until the end for sure.
You need your elbows out. This time it's, you see the number 23 on your side, a little bit different scenario than yesterday. How does that have an impact maybe on your race strategic?
You know, it doesn't matter who is beside you. Antonio is, he knows how to drive and very well experienced. So it will not be easy to stay in front and to fight against him, but I'm waiting for it, and I wait for the start, and I think we will see a good race.
Absolutely, and it's been a long weekend. You had the chance to talk to many fans also, because they came very close. That's cool. We had the grid walk. They had the more autograph sessions. How is it enjoying this Nürburgring and this final race for you?
Yeah, you know, Nürburgring is always fantastic because we have so many fans here, and also in the paddock. Many people are walking there. It takes a long time to take many pictures and give the autograph, but this is part of it. And for us, we will not stay here if they are not coming. So I'm always really happy to be here on the Nürburgring. For sure, it's sometimes a little bit busy, but I enjoy it a lot.
Thank you very much. Of course it is busy, and we will show you everything on this race number 4, of course. So welcome our commentators and welcome Chess Draycott.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final race of the weekend here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draycott up here in the commentary box, looking forward to another smashing encounter around this legendary track. My colleagues Jörg Hennig and, of course, Fonzie Cebrian are doing a great job on the German and Spanish commentary as well, if you'd like to follow along on YouTube. But let's have a look at the circuit, shall we? This is where we are doing battle today. The Nürburgring, but the Grand Prix circuit, and not even the full Grand Prix circuit. This one, very, very tricky. We have this small hairpin partway round the track where we cut back on ourselves. The bottom end of the circuit down towards the Dunlop Kehrer and up towards the Michael Schumacher S is now being used as the Mullenbach-Schleifer section for all the show trucks and the concert and all the fireworks as well. It's a massive festival here at the Nürburgring for the ADAC International Truck Grand Prix. It is amazing, amazing stuff. The Mercedes Arena has been the talking point in terms of difficulty for the drivers this weekend. So many of them struggling to get the setup right, whether it comes to the compression down at turn 1 and down at turn 3, or even the over the crest sort of understeer to oversteer transition into turn 2. The final chicane is so important as well, especially when it comes to penalty markers. We've had a number of drivers this weekend get penalised because of those penalty markers. This is how the grid lines up them, and it's reverse grid for the top 8. So Norbert Kish won the first race earlier with Jochen Hahn second. They will start 7th and 8th. But it's Steffi Halm on pole position for the second day running. Antonio Albacete on the front row will definitely be a hard charger in this one. Andre Kurzim and Lucas Hahn make it an all-Iveco row 2. We then have Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 5th position with Sasha Lenz alongside him on the 3rd row. Then the aforementioned Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish with Mark Taylor and Stefan Fast, the 2 Chrome drivers, completing the top 10 places. We then have Clement Hecker alongside John Newell on row 6, Louis Requenco and Jonathan Andre. Bradley Smith will complete his weekend in the MAN for Don't Touch Racing, but unfortunately Luke Garrett will not take to the grid after having the steering bolt snap on the installation lap around here. Let's go back to the grid and we'll speak to Christina.
Thank you. And I've got the bodyguards here from Andre Kurzim, but luckily they opened the door for us. Andre, final race of this race week at Nürburgring. Time to enjoy and also time to battle and fight. You're on the 2nd row. What are you aiming for?
Yes, hopefully we can get a podium after the race, and hopefully we can go in front of Steffi. That's most important for us. And yes, now we will see what happened now.
And you got a glittery helm also with little sparkles on in blue, but maybe you can see a red flash coming from the back. How will you defend your position?
Yes. Hopefully we can keep the position, but everybody knows the red problem, and we do our best.
Thank you very much. So you might see the red flash from behind. That's Norbert Kisch. He's standing there. And of course, Sascha Lenz is over there in this purple truck and trying to compete also for his P3 right now. You can see Antonio Albacete at the top of the grid, and it's going to be a very exciting race, I suppose.
Yeah, this is going to be the last day of school vibe, as they say, the final race of the weekend. Usually the liveliest. They know they've got a bit more time to fix the trucks between this one, so maybe some more elbows out action for this final encounter. But everybody's certainly looking forward to it and gearing themselves up for a hard charge amongst the pack. The official truck, the Ford F-Max, is now leaving the grid to begin its inspection lap. A lot of the grid and the personnel will be asked to leave the grid in a short amount of time. And everyone will clear the way for the final race of the weekend here. Here's our wonderful May Fisher driving the official truck, the Ford F-Max, on its inspection lap. It's great to have it back on the grid and in the paddock this season. And as the official truck of the championship, it's worth knowing that the Ford F-Max was designed and tested by 500 Ford engineers over a 5-year period. There was over 200 prototype units, and they tested it over 11 countries, 4 continents, and did over 5 million kilometres of road testing to get this amazing truck to where it is today. Let's go back down onto the grid, though. Christina's got one more interview for us.
Talking about the purple color, the Apollo team, with Sascha Lenz. Moin! Und wirst du den Kisch weglenzen?
Ja, keine Ahnung, Nobby ist momentan echt super schnell unterwegs. Ich gucke auf mich, will mein eigenes Rennen fahren und hoffe, naja, dass ich ein bisschen weiter nach vorne komme.
It was a small word game because I asked him if he lenses away the Norbert Kisch, and he said, no, I'm just trying to focus on my race, but of course I'm trying to get him behind me, of course, and I'm very curious how he will manage that, and he's absolutely in the zone and focused right now. We are ready to race, everyone. The wind is blowing, good conditions, so let's go.
Let's go indeed. The laps for the pace truck will now begin, or the lap for the pace truck at least, will begin in just a moment's time. And the wonderful Frank the Tank, as we know him, will lead us away and take the field around for one final lap of the circuit for the Iveco anyway. And then the rest of the field will begin the race. Steffi Halm and Antonio Albacete alongside each other on the front row. Went and recorded some fun content with Antonio Albacete earlier on. He's a wonderful character and an absolute staple of truck racing as well. He's been doing it a mighty long time now. He's had a hell of a career racing in Formula cars, touring cars, GTs as well. I think he was one of the only drivers ever to race for 3 different manufacturer entries in the Spanish Touring Car Championship back in the 1990s. As a factory driver, that is, as well. Not just driving 3 different types of car. He drove as an actual factory driver for 3 different brands, which is amazing stuff. He's been in and around truck racing for a long time, 3-time champion in the past as well, so he knows how to get the job done. And every time I speak to him and ask him, you know, are you coming back next year? He says, of course I will. I'll do it until I can't. At the end of the day, if I wasn't racing, he said, I'd be watching it on the TV at home, so I may as well get involved and crack on. So the 1-minute board held out now, and the pace truck will hop off the line in just a few moments' time. Keep an eye on Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as well on the 3rd row of the grid. He's bound to be one to watch here. With Sascha Lenz alongside him, he's got Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn in there. The difficulty for him is that he's on the outside line of the circuit going through turn 1. It's great to have the inside for turn 2, but you have to really carry the pace around the outside if you're going to make that work. And we've not seen many drivers do that, to be fair, because it's such a tight line down the inside. It's easy to come out on top if you keep it to the apex down at turn 1. So unfortunately, we are 1 truck down here, but still up to the strength of at least 15 of them. And the Iveco S-Way leads us from the grid for the final time this weekend. The pace truck for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is the Bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way. This fantastic example has been with us in the paddock for a few years now, and we certainly love having it. It's an absolute whopper of a machine, and of course being powered by Bio-LNG, it removes up to 95% of the emissions of a conventional diesel engine, with no noticeable difference in terms of the operation, power or torque to the driver themselves. There's no real major difference in how you go about day-to-day life with the truck, and it's a great bit of kit and part of the sustainability ethos of the championship. Here's the front row then, Steffi Halm and Antonio Albacete alongside one another on the front row of the grid, with Andre Kurzim and Lucas Hahn starting on row 2. 3 Ivecos in the top 4 places. Next up behind them is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez alongside Sasha Lenz, 5th and 6th on the grid for those two. And then the top 2 from the earlier race today, Jochen Hahn alongside Norbert Kisch in 7th and 8th. Next up, completing the top 10, we have Mark Taylor and Stefan Faas. Both of them hoping for a podium in the Chrome class to round out their weekend. Clemens Hecker next up, looking for a bit more luck this weekend. So too really is John Newell as well. Both of them having pretty topsy-turvy weekends with some difficulties here and there, with Louis Requenco and Jonathan Andre completing the 7th row of the grid. And then on the back row, we have Bradley Smith, and Luke Garrett would be there in 16th place, but unfortunately steering issues for them mean that he will not be out there in this final race. So down towards the final chicane they go. And I'm really excited to see what Norby and Jochen can make of this final race to try and get another victory. We've had 2 different race winners so far this weekend. Norbert Kisch taking races 1 and 3. Steffi Halm taking race 2 of the weekend. Will we see somebody else? We have once again one of our marshals hula-ing down there at the final corner. I still don't understand the reference, but it's still funny. Not even quite sure what the grid board means, to be honest with you. But a lot of them powering out of the final chicane there, single file. They need to then get back 2 by 2 before they come out of the last corner. And they get into starting formation. And round number 16, race number 4 here at the Nürburgring in the International ADAC Truck-Grand-Prix is underway. And they hop backwards and lean on the torque of those rear tyres, being forced into the road with some 6,000 Newton meters of torque. And it's a great start by Sasha Lenz. They're 4 wide down towards the first corner. Sasha Lenz on the outside of Lucas Hahn, with Jochen Hahn in the middle. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as well. Antonio Albacete trying to go around the outside of Steffi Halm. There's a bit of contact in the middle. I think Lucas Hahn in there. Louis Requenco's had a bit of a hit as well, I think, on the front left corner. Stefan Faas trying to lean on, I believe, Mark Taylor. There's a bit of contact between Clemens Hecker and Jonathan Andre as well, as they try and make it through. Antonio Albacete has the lead, though. He's gone down the inside of Steffi Halm, but he runs wide in the left-hander. What about Andre Kurzim? Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has gone wide. He now rejoins just in front of Norbert Kisch, just behind Jochen Hahn. And it's the number 23 of Antonio Albacete that is at the forefront of the pack. And look at that straight away. Kurzim going to defend the inside line from Lucas Hahn. He wants to try and get his elbows out here. 3 Ivecos in a row, or it was, until Sasha Lenz went round the outside. Jochen Hahn there side by side with Norbert Kisch in the middle of the pack as well. Sasha Lenz trying to go all the way around the outside of Lucas Hahn. I think he's made it work. He's going to be on the inside line for the next corner. Jochen down the inside of his son's Iveco there on the left-hand side. Can Norbert Kisch come through as well? Let's wait and see. But Antonio Albacete, he's having a dream first lap here, because he's taken the lead and everybody else is battling behind him. The Hahns are completely side by side towards us here, with Norbert Kisch and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez side by side behind. Then it's Mark Taylor, Stefan Faas, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Jonathan Andre, and then Louis Requenco. Bradley Smith and John Newell has fallen away from the pack at the start. Not quite sure if he's had contact or something, causing him to drop away a little bit. There's Antonio over the chicane for the first time. Love watching them hop, skip and jump their way through that section. Norbert Kisch there behind Lucas Hahn, tries to get down the inside. Whoa, big damage to Heinrich Clemens Hecker's truck. As, oh dearie me, Lucas and Norby side by side with each other. I think Lucas wanted to close the gap down the inside. Norby tried to find the way through. Lucas didn't want him to come through. You can't keep moving over once the truck's already there. You're defending thin air in a straight line if you're doing that. It's similar to the move that we saw from Norby on Jochen earlier, but there was a lot more room left in the previous iteration of that. There is Steffi Halm ahead of Andre Kurzim. Sascha Lenz trying to get a cutback to get alongside. He's just got his nose next to him there. He knows that he needs to be quick about this move and try and get away because Jochen's there. Oh, he tries to cut down the inside, does Sascha. Don't think he knew that Jochen was there and quite had his nose alongside. They get away with that. There's a little bit of bodywork damage on Sascha's truck. It's just bent that wheel arch up slightly. Lucas Hahn right in the thick of it there. Gets a bit of a push from Mark Taylor, who gets a push from Stefan Faas, who I think gets a push from Clemens Hecker. They're all pushing each other at that point of the circuit. Here's the battle for second. Steffi Halm still in the mix. Andre Kurzim trying to get a podium as well. Not quite sure if we've seen Andre on the podium yet this season. No, he's not been on an outright podium at all so far this year. Looks like Lucas might have a bit of a problem here. Not quite sure what's going on, but he's not able to get away from the Chrome class drivers behind. There's Stefan Faas and Heinrich Clemens-Hecker. Whoa, they may be teammates, but they're not giving each other a single inch of the circuit here. The two Scanias right next to each other from Team Sweden Power. Both of them with their own wonderful businesses in the transport and logistics industry. That bodywork hanging off Hecker's truck, well, now departed, looks a lot more dramatic than it is. It's just fiberglass bodywork, so it's very lightweight. You can almost completely bend it with your hands, actually, if you pick it up and take it off the parts that hold it on. You can see just the couple of bolts and small brackets that hold it together to the body. It's now a Scania Superleggera. Antonio Albacetti loving life out at the front. I was saying to him earlier on that I was maybe a bit of a commentator's cursor with the mention of the black smoke, and then he ended up getting a penalty for it in qualifying. But this has worked out nicely. Sascha Lenz down the inside of Andre Kurzim, and well, the Don't Touch racing machine has certainly been touched there. It's been absolutely head-butted down the inside into the hairpin. Jochen Hahn trying to go around the outside. Now Norbert Kish in the picture as well. He's going to get around the outside of Andre Kurzim. Is he? Just about. He tries to fit alongside, tries to go late on the brakes, but Jochen Hahn is there as well to cover that line. Not quite sure that he's going to be able to get through, or is he actually? Has he got the cutback done? Yes, he has. We saw that, and we saw him do that yesterday. So, there's a touch on the exit though. They both run wide, both collect the penalty marker, and now Jochen looks down the inside of Sascha Lenz. No, thank you, he says. Although Sascha's gone deep. No, Sascha goes a little bit too hard on the brakes, and Jochen back down the inside. Whoa, they lean on each other a little bit. This is the bodywork departing stage left from Heinrich Clemens-Hecker's truck. And you can see the bracket that came off with it as well, actually. That's a piece of metal that came off there that usually holds that on with just a couple of bolts. What a busy start to the race that was. Now, I usually say that we've got trucks 1, 2 and 3 in positions 1, 2 and 3. There's a look back at John Newell and Louis Requenco. Oh, dearie me, he was close to hitting Bradley Smith there. That was a scary, scary moment, that. Louis gets back up to speed. Now Steffi Halm holding second position at the moment. She's going to be seeing her mirrors and seeing the likes of Sascha Lenz, Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish closing in. She's going to get her foot down, as Antonio Albacetti has done so. He is now 4 seconds clear of Steffi Halm, and we're on to the 4th lap of the race. Whoa, bodywork off the back of Sascha's truck there. That was the right rear mudguard, wheel arch, whatever you want to call it, flying off. I thought it was the left one that was at risk more of coming away. I don't necessarily think that that's going to be a massive issue. Here's another look back at it, and it breaks clean off. Just flies around in the air. And speaking of clean, so is the renewable HVO diesel we run on. There's a good one for Patrick, our graphics guy. Look at that. Beautiful pirouette in the middle of the start-finish straight. But like I said in the earlier race, any debris like that is only fiberglass, so it's not really going to do any damage. And if any of the drivers run over it, it's hardly strong enough to puncture a tyre or cause any major problems. But as a driver, you can't risk hitting anything that you see out there on the circuit. You never know whether there could be just a single bolt or a tiny sharp piece of metal involved in whatever bodywork has come away. You can't trust that it's just fiberglass, you know what I mean? Jochen Hahn stuck in the middle with you at the minute here. Not quite sure who's the clown or the joker out of Lenz and Norby. But Jochen very much stuck in the middle of this, in the thick of it. Wanting to attack Sasha Lenz, but also not wanting to overdo it, just in case Norby can manage to get through with an opportunistic manoeuvre. In the Chrome class, it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez leading the way from Lucas Hahn, and then Mark Taylor once again, the same podium that we had earlier on. But now it's all the Titan drivers at the front in the top 6 positions, then all the Chrome drivers as Jochen Hahn with a late move down the inside, gets it stopped on the apex, leaning on each other-ish. Oh, a tiny bit of contact there, and Sasha is forced out wide. I think the two of them just banged bumpers a little bit, and it upset the momentum of the truck as he pushed onto the throttle. Side by side down the start-finish straight. Jochen on the preferred line on the inside, but keep your eye on the red MAN there of Norbert Kish. Let's see what he can do. And that's what he can do down the inside, he says. Finds a gap on the right-hand side. Doesn't make it stick this time round, or can he get the cutback? No, he will not. A reminder there that this amazing Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship has been awarded the FIA 3-star environmental accreditation as of this 2024 season. Amazing hard work from behind the scenes from everybody to get to that accreditation. It's a joy to be a part of it. Makes us all very, very proud. So Jochen now up into 3rd place. Sasha Lenz just behind, hoping to hold on in front of Norbert Kish. Norby putting all sorts of pressure on the MAN in front of him. 2 Ivecos and 2 MANs here in this fight. And Steffi is now 5.1 seconds behind Antonio Albacete. Antonio flying at the minute. Looking at the lap times, Antonio did a 1:56.1 last time round. Jochen Hahn was the only other driver to get near that, doing a 1:56.1 himself, but it was still a little bit slower than Antonio by about half a tenth. As Norby goes down the inside into the chicane on Sasha Lenz, but he's got a little bit too hot into there, has to cut across through the infield and recovers back onto the track, doesn't gain any advantage or any positions from it, so it's all okay. But I think he had to let off the brakes there and let it go straight on, just so there wasn't any problem and wasn't any sort of cutback or contact. At the end of the day, if he tries to rejoin the circuit on the apex of that chicane, then that's going to cause trouble, so he did the right thing there, went across the grass. There is Steffi Halm coming towards us with the sort of wings of that front bumper spread sideways from the wheels, whereas Jochen Hahn's front bumper in the front left corner is flapping away down the start-finish straight. Steffi actually closed in a little bit on Antonio that lap, but only 0.04 of a second, so not a huge increase in lap time. This is the halfway point of the race now, lap 6 out of 12. Just a reminder that the timer in the top left of the screen tells you how many laps have been completed here at the Nürburgring. And a quick shout out to our championship title sponsor Goodyear. Their new harder compound tyres have been really durable this season. The drivers get a lot of grip out of them throughout the whole race. They don't really fall away at all, and it's also a much more improved tyre in the wet as well. It's been great to catch up and speak with Davide Califano about that from Goodyear as Jochen Hahn sends it down the inside. He says, this is how much grip I've got this late on in the race, or at least at the halfway stage anyway. He gets through on Steffi Halm. Tidy stuff for 2nd position. And next up, Sasha Lenz is going to be trying to make moves stick. I think Norbert Kish, after his little excursion not too long ago, is going to be staying behind Sasha, hoping that he can bring them forward to the fight ahead. We've had another warning for track limits for Jochen Hahn. He's on his 2nd warning now, so he needs to be very careful to not get a penalty. Sasha Lenz currently 4th overall, whereas now Jochen has to be the spearhead to go chasing after Antonio Albacete. He's not quite there yet, Sunshine. He'll be round in a minute. Sacha Lenz moves into the middle of the road. Norby moves over to the right-hand side. They do that just to make sure that it's not the hot air from the truck in front of them that is hitting the front of their radiator and heating up the engine. They can lose a bit of power when it's running at a higher temperature. So you don't want to sit too closely to the truck in front of you for too long. I was talking to Franz Steilberg earlier on today from the FIA, and he was saying that it's a couple of laps sat right behind another truck will start to sort of deteriorate the power slightly with all of the temperature that's going through it, because it takes much longer to cool down than it does to heat up with these massive radiators on the engines. I always appreciate Franz and Connie's input and helping me learn more and more about these trucks. They're great people, part of an ever-growing network of incredible people in this championship that bring it all together and make it all work. Now we're hearing that Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is under investigation for his potential third track limits infringement. So we'll see whether that comes to anything. See whether he gets any form of penalty. There is Antonio Albacete, absolutely flying at the moment on a real mission. Doing a good job out front, not challenged by anybody at this point. He's currently got 5.2 seconds, give or take a small amount, back to Jochen Hahn. But he's keeping it tidy at the moment. He's using his wise head. He's playing it safe. He's not risking anything. He's not pushing too hard. Let's have a look at the lap times. 156.4 for Albacete. 155.7 for Jochen Hahn. So 7/10 of a lap, sorry, 7/10 of a second quicker on that previous rotation. Norbert Kish still sat behind Sacha Lenz for a moment here as he tries to catch up with Steffi Halm. I think just playing it safely at the moment. As Sacha finds a gap down the inside, tries to cut in. There's a little bit of contact. The two bumper bars clip each other. Steffi runs wide. Sacha gives her room to get back on the circuit. Goes for the inside line there in the Mercedes-Benz Arena, and Norby says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that as well." He's now going to be on the outside line, though. Look at this. He's trying the cutback. Steffi's actually going down the inside of Sacha as well, but look at Norby. Norby's going to try and come through. There's a tiny touch on the exit. Doesn't quite get it perfectly aligned. He's still down the inside of Steffi into the next corner. She's trying to defend this one as Norby clings to the apex on the inside. Is Andre Kurzim going to be able to come through as well and gain the place from this? Not quite yet. Here's the move again, look. So Sacha goes down the inside of Steffi. Nice, respectful stuff. Steffi leaves Norby the room. Norby backs out of it quickly to try and get a cutback. Steffi goes for the move, and look, Norby's got it full lock to the right to try and dig from underneath and get alongside Steffi again in the next corner. It didn't work this time round, though, I'm afraid. Quick reminder, of course, that the trucks all race on a 100% renewable HVO diesel. It's one of the main spearheads of the sustainability of this championship, and part of the reason that we have this fantastic 3-star environmental accreditation from the FIA. And a big tip of the hat to everybody involved in the project and making it work. They've done an amazing job at receiving that accreditation. Antonio Albacete powering towards us once again. What are the lap times like this time round, boys? 156.3 for Albacete, 155.9 for Jochen Hahn. So at the current moment, Albacete, well, he's getting away from the likes of Lenz, Kish and Hahn, but he's not getting away from Jochen Hahn right now. Jochen just closing the gap down a little bit to 4.8 seconds, give or take. We're now on lap 9 out of 12, so Antonio's only got a few more to do. The last time we saw Antonio on the podium was the first race of the weekend at Zolder, where he finished in 2nd position. The time before that, it was the first race at the Slovakia Ring, where he finished 3rd, and they finished 3rd in race 3 at Misano as well. So only 3 podiums for Antonio so far this season, but he's been remarkably consistent. So we'll see what he can get out of this one. The second track limits warning has just gone out to Jonathan Andre in truck number 66. So hopefully no more infringements for him, otherwise a penalty will come his way. Norbert Kish now closing right up behind Sasha Lenz. Starting to make potential moves. He's looking down the inside into the chicane. Not quite got the power on the exit. Not necessarily down to the power, sorry. He's just not got the run on the exit there that time round to make a move. You can sometimes see when Norby tries to set these moves up, he'll duck out of a move and sort of try to get back underneath the truck in front and make a quick switch from left to right. Sasha Lenz holding on in third place right now. Jochen Hahn in second position just up the road. Then Antonio Albacete. These guys sort of considered the big four of this championship. They're always in a top four position, really. They're so consistent, so fast all of the time. There we see Steffi Halm, Andre Kurzim, and then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, all chasing one another in the middle of the pack. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez apparently under investigation for a third track limits warning, but I haven't seen a penalty come through on the screen just yet. We'll keep our eye out for that and see what's what. Lucas Hahn isn't too far behind him. And then Mark Taylor just coming through our shot there as well. There is Clemens Hecker as well, just behind them, hoping for a bit more luck in this race. He's in 10th position ahead of Stefan Faas. He's ahead of the rest of the Chrome field. But Norby still behind Sasha here, trying to find a place to make a move. He's not been able to get one done just yet. Seems like something not quite right in this race for Norby. His pace has been subdued a little bit. I'm not sure whether there was some contact or something earlier that might have knocked something in the truck and he has to take it in a reserved way, whether the temperatures are quite high, because we've seen him ducking out from behind Sasha quite a lot, more than usual. But a second track limits warning now for Steffi Halm as well, so she needs to be careful. Otherwise, any more track limits infringements will land her with a penalty. The rear arch is actually sort of placed directly on top of the back of the truck there. It's almost like someone's left it on there and forgotten to bolt it on. But Steffi now across the start-finish line with Andre Kurzim just behind. Then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez currently leading the Chrome class. Lucas Hahn trying to take that position away from him, but he's not close enough to make a move just yet. He is closing in nicely on the brakes though, so we'll see whereabouts he gets to towards the end of the race. We're on the penultimate lap now here at the Nürburgring. The gap for the lead is down to 2.8 seconds from Antonio Albacete to Jochen Hahn. But Jochen, I don't think, doing quite enough to take the victory here. He's been so close on a few occasions here this weekend. And there is Sasha defending from Norby. Norby tries to go for the outside line, maybe to cut back on the exit of the hairpin. Let's see as they come through shot from the left-hand side. No, still Sasha in front. Is Norby going to put it down the inside into any of these corners? You can see him really drifting the back end of that machine around there, floating it sideways. This battle for the final podium spot, certainly a good one. Sasha doing everything he can do. Christina asked him earlier about red flash in the mirror, whether any defending can be done. Sorry, that was Andre Kurzim, wasn't it? I do apologise. Andre still having to defend though from a blue, white and red flash in the mirror, being Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And we're going to be on to the final lap now here for the entire weekend here at the Nürburgring. Antonio Albacete crosses the line and begins lap number 12 here in round 16 of the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And we wait to see whether Norbert Kish can get past Sasha Lenz here, or whether Sasha gets another podium on home soil. He's not had to defend too hard into turn 1. I think Norby will try it down here into turn 3. Look, he's going to try and set himself up maybe at turn 2. No. Takes a bit of a tighter line on the exit. And then, yeah, nothing down the inside this time round. I wonder if he's going to do what he did with Jochen earlier on. He's going to take a wider line here. Look, he ducks back a little bit, tries to get the run down towards the hairpin. He's run a little bit wide, but that's not completely outside of track limits. They're allowed to run quite wide through there. He's not close enough this time to make the move, though. Sasha just needs to keep his head in this situation. It's very easy to fall to the pressure of Norby. He is pretty inevitable, as we say. The pace and the consistency of Baloo and the Reveche Racing team once again proving incredible. You could see he had a little look to the inside there just to try and unsettle Sasha that tiny bit. Don't think he's got enough of a run there to get alongside before they hit 100 miles an hour. Through the right kink. It's going to have to be a dive down the inside into the final corner, I think, if Norbert Kish is going to get this one done. He does look to the inside in the chicane, but I think that's more just down to the engine temperatures and just getting some cooler air on the front of the truck. But if we look further ahead, we will see that for the first time in a while, it's going to be a race victory for Antonio Albacete. He crosses the final corner and the finish line to take the checkered flag here at the Nürburgring. Great stuff with Jochen Hahn in second place. And who is it in third place? It's going to be Sascha Lenz, just beating Norbert Kish to the line. And just to highlight Norbert Kish's dominance this season, this is round 16 of the championship, and that's the first time he's not been on the podium. Incredible. Still incredible from Norby, even when he doesn't win or doesn't finish on the podium. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wins in the Chrome class. Very well done to him. That's 3 wins out of 4 this weekend. Lucas Hahn finishing in second position, and third place going to Mark Taylor, the same podium that we had earlier on today, as Jochen entertains the crowd with some fantastic donuts. Look at that. Same as well from Sascha Lenz. Now, these trucks may be 5 tons, but over 3 tons of that has to be weighed over the front axle, so the rear axle can break away very, very easily. You can break traction and do donuts really well down there. Look at that. Lucas Hahn getting involved in it as well. You love to see it. That's not a bad effort at all, that, is it, by Lucas Hahn? And you can see that there's been a few donuts done down there before. Isn't that brilliant? I wonder if he's going to style us out now and get going. Yes, lovely stuff, Lucas. Oh, brilliant. I'd say he nailed that, wouldn't you? But Antonio Albacete, race winner once again. Very well done to Antonio and the wonderful team at T-Sport Bernau. They needed that one after the unfortunate penalty in qualifying earlier on in the day. He didn't have the best of starts and he dropped away slightly, but he wins a race here at the Nürburgring at one of the most important race meetings, if not the most important race meeting of the season, at the legendary ADAC International Truck-Grand-Prix. That one will sit just right for Tim, Melanie and the team. There is your winner in the Chrome class, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. A fantastic weekend for him. A second place and 3 wins. Lucas Hahn having a good one as well with a win and 3 second places. Mark Taylor getting 2 podiums today as well. So a solid result from those guys. I spoke to Alan Taylor earlier on today and I said, it's been a great day for how clean the racing's been and a great weekend for it. And he told me to shut up in case I commentates cursed him. So it's a good thing I did, isn't it, Alan? There's a bit of a traffic jam up there at the chicane, I believe. Not quite sure what's gone on there. Everybody slowed down a little bit. It looks like Steffi's carrying a bit of a souvenir there with the rear wheel arch as Andre Kurzim drifts slightly out of the chicane. You can see Jochen doing a little bit of drifting there in the background as well. Nice and tidy. Great stuff. Oh, he's actually doing some donuts. Brilliant stuff. These trucks do drift so elegantly. Heinrich Clemens-Hecker getting in on it as well, look, lighting up those rear tyres. Doing some weaving as well. It's great to see it. There's Antonio pulling up there in front of Janine, who will guide the remainder of the podium finishers in. It's going to be strange for Norby not coming into a podium position. Like I say, the first time this season he hasn't finished in the top 3. but still good points for the championship. He was right up there in 4th place. Here's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez next up. He takes a win in the Chrome class and in the young drivers category as well. He remains triumphant this weekend. Mark Taylor next, but he finished in 3rd place in that one. It's Lucas Hahn that we're going to be waiting for. And there is Jochen. Great to have Jochen and Antonio on the podium together as well. I remember a brilliant interview back at Le Mans a few seasons ago where Jochen called him and Antonio the old guys or the old boys. And they've still got a lot of fight in them yet. And they continue to show us that their age does not matter. They are great racing drivers, very consistent, very clean and really competitive. I think this will be a great feeling for Antonio and the squad. Antonio's no stranger to a race victory. He's won many things in his glorious career. We don't joke around when we call him a legend. That's definitely closed now. We'll see almost like a shrug from Antonio as he takes the win. That's a very Antonio-esque reaction, that is. Brilliant stuff. Casino, Tim and Alex and the team all delighted for him. And he, I'm sure, will look to congratulate Jochen. And he gets the Teng Tools hat from Tim. I don't think I've ever seen that Tim's actual hair, to be honest, from underneath the hat. And Christina, as you can see, is down there to speak to Antonio Albacete.
Absolutely, that was the first prize right now from the 1st place. The team cap it is. Felicitaciones, Antonio. So the first race win this season, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's good, and more here in the Nürburgring. But yeah, it was a little bit upset this morning, you know, with the penalty. So I think maybe we couldn't win the first race. You know, we have good, not now. I don't know why. We changed a little things and it was worse. You know, we tried to go maximum attack from the beginning, and I was not very happy with the setup. But anyway, at least we won the race, so we are happy.
Was that the little shrug you gave as you came to the team, or is it because there are mixed feelings in you, or is it just that you're very decent?
No, I think it's okay. You know, I mean, at least we have a win. You know, so it's good for the team. It's good for the points also. You know, because we lose quite a lot of points this morning. But anyway, we will keep fighting. So yeah, many thanks to the team.
And also the heat is on in between you and, of course, Sascha Lenz. We were interviewing you both this morning on the truck. So, as you said, the points, they're very, very important for you. What can we expect in the further races from you?
Oh, I think it's going to be close. I mean, we will try to have the same performance that we have here. Let's hope that we keep that performance. And, yeah, I will fight with Sascha for the 3rd place, for sure.
One good thing about winning the final race is that you can celebrate more than...
Yeah, probably, yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's better than winning on Saturday. Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
So finally, a smile we got. Back to you, Chase.
Lovely stuff. Antonio Albacete, a real gentleman. I can't even get the word out, but a real character as well. Antonio Albacete wins round 16 of the championship here in 2024 ahead of Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz, with Norbert Kisch in 4th position after a great fight all the way through. Steffi Halm completes the top 5, more points for her, with Andre Kurzim in 6th place. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wins in the Chrome class ahead of Lucas Hahn and Mark Taylor, who completes the podium. Clemens Hecker will finish the top 10 places this time round. Stefan Faas was next up ahead of John Newell with Jonathan Andre and Bradley Smith in 14th, with Louis Riquenco completing the field. Unfortunately, no Luke Garrett in that one after the steering issues on the installation lap heading to the grid. Just to confirm the Chrome category results, then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wins it by just over a second from Lucas Hahn. Mark Taylor will join them on the podium for the 2nd race in succession. Clemens Hecker was 4th ahead of Stefan Faas, with John Newell, Jonathan Andre, Bradley Smith and Louis Riquenco completing the field. Another very popular victory here at the Nürburgring. Steffi Halm and Antonio Albacete, both massively loved drivers in the paddocks. Great to see them to get their victories this weekend. And the T-Sport Bernau team, as I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, have also received an FIA environmental accreditation of 2 stars for just the team itself, which is a fantastic achievement from Tim and his squad. And as Tim rightly pointed out, recently, if they get an electric tractor unit, for example, for the trailer and the kit that they take with them, then they may end up with 3 stars as well as the series itself. A few battle scars there on Jochen Hahn's Iveco. You can see that he's been through the wars a little bit. Let's have a look back at said wars and see the battles and how everything transpired in the final race of the International Truck Grand Prix. Well, after a really busy weekend so far, and quite a long wait actually before the final race, everyone was eager to get things underway with the last day of school, as we call it. And the drivers keeping the mixed conditions in mind. It's been mighty warm today, but it's not been ridiculously sunny out there, so not too much in terms of temperature to think about. And Steffi Halm led us away, but Antonio Albacete was quick out of the gate to take the race lead, while everybody else scrapped amongst themselves. A bit of contact there with Norbert Kisch and Lucas Hahn, but Norby able to get through. Stefan Faas and Heinrich Clemens Hecker having a little bit of contact too as teammates, and the battles erupted as the Titan drivers made their way to the front. Louis Requenco and Bradley Smith had this scary moment coming out of the hairpin, as well as Sasha Lenz shedding bodywork down the start-finish straight. There was bumpers and wheel arches galore all over the circuit by the end, but it was huge entertainment once again from the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Norbert Kisch was certainly in the wars though in that one, trying everything he could to get past the likes of Sasha Lenz and then Steffi Halm as well. The battles were always entertaining, but Jochen went off chasing Antonio Albacete for the win, but as he dubbed them, the old guys come home in first and second places. Doing a great job for their respective teams. Hats off to Sasha Lenz as well, holding on to that podium position right until the end, despite massive pressure from the reigning champion and 5-time champion, Norbert Kisch. You can see there a little dive left and right into the final corner. Wasn't quite enough, and it was almost a dead heat. And then we celebrated with some beautiful donuts down there in the Mercedes-AMG arena. The gorgeous castle overlooking the circuit there, resplendent in the sunshine. It's an amazing backdrop to an amazing circuit. It's always a real joy to come here to the Nürburgring. Let's go to the shuttle, shall we, and speak to Christina and our drivers.
Yeah, this is the best shuttle, of course, and we do see an emotional Sasha Lenz. Was bedeutet dir überhaupt dieser Podiumplatz und was bewegt dich da gerade so dran?
Ja, ich sag mal so, dass hier oben am Nürburgring, du hast halt auch viel Druck. Du willst das Beste für deine Fans machen, für die Sponsoren. Und dann, wenn du so ein Rennen fährst, dann ja, kommt irgendwann über dich so.
As you can see, the pressure is so high here at the Nürburgring for a local matador, of course. You want to do the best for the fans, for the sponsors, for the team. And this is why this is a huge relief. Und natürlich auch nach dem 4. Rennen jetzt noch, ne, wo alles irgendwie voneinander abfällt.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Vor allen Dingen dann, glaube ich, habe die Hälfte vom Rennen noch der Nobby hinter mir gehabt, der aber super fair geblieben ist. Haben 2-3 Mal die Tür zugemacht. Also ich bin ganz ehrlich, ich hätte vielleicht die Nerven nicht behalten, so wie er sie behalten hat. Und auch, ja, er hat mir auch ein bisschen dabei geholfen eigentlich. Ich bin zwar meine selben Rundenzeiten gefahren wie am Anfang auch, aber er ist halt so brutal schnell. Wahnsinn.
Great sportsmanship, because he's telling us that, of course, maybe Norby helped him a little bit because it was very fair racing from him. And, of course, Sasha Lenz, he closed the door several times for Norby Kisch, but he also appreciates the huge pace Norby's got. So that was the battle in between you. Es war ja dann doch irgendwie auch der Zweikampf, der total spannend war. Und wie bist du dann bei dir geblieben? How did you stay focused to yourself?
Ja, every time when I go for the start and finish line, there's a big video wall and there I see, oh fuck, 4
Language.
4 laps, 3 laps, 2 laps. And then in the last lap he was in the Mercedes arena, we were side by side, and then after the chicane we were side by side. Come on please, one corner more, and then yeah, I'm really happy, really happy.
Yeah. One corner it is to the podium right now. Congratulations, P3.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, apologies for the language there from Sasha, but I'm sure by now, if you've been watching the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship for long enough, you'll know that's part of Sasha's character. We love him for it. It's very funny. He gives us the most honest interviews and wears his heart on his sleeve. He's an absolute star of the series, and I'm sure you can all appreciate the good humour that comes with these interviews from Sasha. Great insight into his race there. So, the drivers will now head up to the podium, and we will get a very popular result here with Antonio Albacete on the top step. More big points for the team's championship as well. Let's not forget about that element of the series. He's teamed up with Norbert Kisch, and they lead the team's championship as Revesh and T-Sport for this season. We have the Die Bullen von Iveco team of Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm. They've both scored big this weekend as well. Sascha Lenz and John Newell were third coming into this championship round as Team Lowenpower. And in just a moment's time, we will have the announcers for the podium. I think it's Joachim Eberts still doing the podium tannoy, so to speak, down there in the fan village here at the Nürburgring. But we have this gorgeous scene of the castle overlooking the circuit right now with that amazing cloudscape behind it as well. Part of the charm of the Nürburgring is the ever-changing conditions. You never know what it's going to look like from one race to the next. All the fans and team personnel, media and all sorts ready to watch the podium presentation. And we will first off have the Titan class podium, then the Chrome class podium, and I believe the young drivers category as well, which will include the likes of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Lucas Hahn and Bradley Smith. The first time in the championship that we've had 3 drivers capable for the category entry on the same weekend. And it is the delightful Joachim Eberts, our very own EB, the German commentator, doing the presentation. And he's now going to introduce our 3rd place finisher from that one, Sascha Lenz for SL Truck Sport 30. A big handshake to EB. And you can tell this one means a lot to him. It's lovely to see that. Like I said, wears his heart on his sleeve. It's great. And now listen to a big cheer as well, also for Jochen Hahn.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll let EB take it away. He's so good at this.
Congratulations, félicitations, Antonio Albacete, T-Sport Bernau.
Well done to Antonio. A huge star of truck racing, 3-time champion. Great to see him back on the top step once more. Sascha Lenz receives his trophy from the man in the most white suit in the paddock. Jochen Hahn gets his trophy for 2nd place. And then Antonio receives his race-winning trophy. A very well-earned cup for him and T-Sport Bernau. And now we will have the national anthem of Spain for our race-winning driver. And there you go, the Spanish national anthem for Antonio Albacete, winner of round 16 of the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Now the guys will have their pictures taken from the top step. And then we'll have the usual changing of the caps. And you can bet that Antonio, well, I said earlier, didn't I, about Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz being a very mischievous duo up there on the podium. You can bet that Antonio is going to get drenched in a moment in champagne. They have the usual changing of the caps, more pictures taken. And now it's time for champagne. One of my favourite bits of the weekend, this, because you never know how the champagne fight's going to go. Sascha Lenz takes a big old swig. And then soaks Antonio with the rest of it, I'm sure. And Jochen. Great fun. You've got to love to see it. It's just entertaining, isn't it? The guys all get on so well in this championship. It really makes it a joy to commentate on and a joy to watch, I'm sure you'll agree. The one truck family mantra, definitely not something that we just say for no reason. It really is true. Here are the points then leaving the Nürburgring into the second half of the season. Norbert Kisch on 233 points to Jochen Hahn's 178. The gap now between Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacete now just down to 5 points, with Steffi Halm holding on to 5th place with Andre Kurzim in 6th. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is 7th ahead of Lucas Hahn. And Stefan Faas and Mark Taylor complete the top 10. Mark now moving on to 25 points from 21 this weekend. John Newell next up in 11th place, ahead of Heinrich Clemens-Hecker, with Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett completing the field of drivers that have scored points so far overall this season. Now we'll move on to the Chrome category podium, which is actually the same podium from earlier on today. Very good consistency from these Chrome class drivers to all score 2 podium finishes in a day. Third position finisher this time round was Mark Taylor. Second place to join him up there on the podium, as he did in the earlier races, will be Lucas Hahn. Lucas with some more silverware for the team. And the race winner once more, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, after a really sterling weekend. A big fist pump there, and you can see that that one makes him really, really happy. Him and his family and the team, all wonderful people. Great to have them in the championship, and he's really showing them how it's done. Mark with another trophy to take home back to the UK during the summer break. Lucas Hahn with another one for, like I say, the family warehouse. They can't have a trophy cabinet. And Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is making a habit of collecting these trophies now. He's got a lot of them along the dashboard of one of their trucks, actually, out there in the paddock. And let's now have the Portuguese national anthem for our winning driver. And that there, the Portuguese national anthem for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who takes a victory once more in the Chrome class for 2024. These guys get their pictures taken now on the top step of the podium. And we'll see if any of them get soaked with champagne for this round. They don't tend to soak each other from memory here. They just tend to soak the media and everyone in the surrounding area. And well deserved from each of them. We'll see 2 of them back up on the podium in just a second, if I remember rightly. But a great result for our Chrome category drivers there. 2 podiums apiece over this weekend. And this is how the championship standings look, leaving the Nürburgring. We have Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on 189 points now. Stefan Faas still holding on to second position, but a decent weekend for Mark Taylor sees him really close in there. Only 16 points between those guys. John Newell is still in 4th position, holding on there ahead of Lucas Hahn. Unfortunately, though, that's the last race we'll see from Lucas for this season. I was speaking to him earlier today, and he said he will not be at Most or Le Mans or Jarama, so Lucas will finish the season on 105 points unless something changes. And, of course, he is right up there in the fight and has made a really, really good example of himself and shown us just how it's done as a Chrome driver. Very well done to Lucas. Louis Requenco is in 6th place on 84 points. Not too far behind him is Clemens-Hecker in 7th position. 30 points between himself and Luke Garrett in 8th place. Bradley Smith is in 9th position currently, although you will see here that they have different points. Bradley Smith appearing there twice as he's raced in 2 different trucks so far this season. He's been in the MAN and he's been in the Freightliner. The 2 machines are scored individually, so some of the points from one of them will not count, basically. Jonathan Andre completes it, P11 on 11 points, leaving the Nürburgring. And we look forward to hopefully having Jonathan with us again on the grid, and Bradley too, as the season goes on. Let's go back down to Christina.
Yeah, we're here with Lucas Hahn and we're joining him onto the podium because he's the young drivers category. So we congratulations to Lucas Hahn. And then afterwards, we're going to talk, of course, to all the winners of the Young Drivers Academy. This is a special award initiated for the future of truck racing, and we're so glad that we do see 3 contestants this weekend. Bradley Smith, who was competing for Don't Touch Racing, they had 2 trucks on the grid this time, and it was amazing to see these young drivers right now in the championship. And Rudi Speich is, of course, handing over the trophies, and as soon as they come back down the stairs, we can have the interview. So this is a great celebration evening.
The Young Driver Championships this weekend here at Nürburgring.
Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wins the Young Drivers category. And we will once again get the Portuguese national anthem, I believe. Or are they just going to take pictures? Yes. Thank you, Ibi.
Please send a big hand to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Lucas Hahn,
and there you go, the
Smith.
Portuguese national anthem again. Bradley Smith steps up onto the top step for some pictures with the guys. It's lovely to see the young drivers and the next generation, as Christina said, the next generation of truck racing drivers get the appreciation they deserve for the hard work that goes into their efforts here in the championship. And yet more champagne for these guys. Another bottle for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Lucas Hahn. Bradley Smith doing a wonderful job this weekend in a completely different truck to what he was racing earlier on in the season. He was in the Freightliner, the Ollie James Truck Sport Freightliner at the early start of the season at Misano. And then he moves over to the MAN with Don't Touch Racing this time round. They've learned a lot this weekend. They've had a lot of experience come out of this one, new knowledge for the team. And it's exactly what they need to continue developing and for Bradley to get better and better, as he often does as a driver. He's a really, really good peddler in the British Championships. And let's go back down to Christina.
Trying to get every young driver, come on in, all the 3, because this is the future of truck racing. Congratulations, what a great podium it was with all the 3 of you. It's making really huge fun seeing José competir no Nürburgring é uma experiência muito especial e única nesta pista. Como é o teu resumo?
Foi um bom fim de semana para mim, depois de um fim de semana mau consegui recuperar e consegui conquistar muitos pontos para o meu campeonato e diverti-me imenso este fim de semana, foi um bom fim de semana para mim e isso é o mais importante.
So you're here happy, José Eduardo Rodriguez. He said, yeah, I could recuperate some points, and he's very glad with the resume of this weekend. And we do see Bradley Smith, of course, and it was a complete weekend of testing for you with a new team, Don't Touch Racing. So what is your resume of the weekend?
It was a brilliant weekend. We finished every race. We've just learnt so much. The team, working with Andre, Sven, just thank you for the opportunity. It's just been amazing. I've loved every minute of it. It's been a fantastic crowd this weekend. So, yeah, roll on the future, learning every lap, and yeah, can't wait to get back out.
Absolutely, and since everyone is trying to talk in his hometown language, you can also answer in German if you want to, or in English, you can choose. Lucas, of course, this podium is very strong with all those guys. What is it special about the young drivers category?
Yeah, it's good that it's also this competition, and Jose is also a fast guy, and it gives me also the push to go more in front and keep pushing. But I also want to say to some new drivers, maybe they can also or can get a
possibility to join also the championship, because we need to grow up a little bit also with the young drivers, because I think we are also the future of truck racing.
Absolutely, this is the future. Thank you very much, guys, and we want to say ciao to the audience, maybe all together, right? 1, 2, 3.
Habt ihr toll gemacht. Für alle Teams und für die siegreichen Teams an diesem Wochenende nochmal einen ganz besonderen Applaus, meine Damen und Herren.
Well, fantastic vibes from the ADAC International Truck Grand Prix and another amazing weekend here at the Nürburgring. I've been Chaz Draker and I've been delighted to be here on site for this weekend, joined by Christina and the team. Don't forget, we'll be back in 3 weeks' time when we go to Most in August. Not even 3 weeks, longer than that. It's going to come around mighty quickly, though. Thank you, everybody, for watching with us this weekend. Thank you to everybody that's been involved and for having me on site. It's been an absolute joy to be back with the championship again, and I'll hopefully speak to you all again very, very soon when we head to Most. We'll see you again.